sudden I decided I like bats more than I like red wine. He said, dumbest thing I've ever seen in cricket, son. He remember telling me, mate, you're a bat psycho. You are a bat psycho. And my old man reminds me every flippin' Christmas. It must have been since I was a little kid, I used to say, oh, this bat's an absolute belter. And because I love my cricket bats. There's guys like myself and punter Mike Hussey, bat tragics. Some of our other mates couldn't care less. They'd pick up a wine bottle, they'd pick up anything and just go and bat. But we love our bats. But I used to say when I was a little kid, oh, this is an absolute belter. And my very first bat I scored a first class 100 with, because whenever I got 100, it's a bit of a cricket nuffy thing to do, but I used to write little notes on it, like this was a really good bat, or I scored it against this mob, or you know, this happened. But the very first test, first class 100, I was 22, I wrote a few notes on the bat, and at the bottom of it said, this is an absolute belter. And that's, so I'm 22 years old, right? So then if you fast forward, I got a 100 at MCG, and then old Hollywood, the boss of Kookaburra, he say to me, mate, you just got 150, you got 250. We're gonna call the bat the Absolute Belter. Oh, mate, I knew I'd made it. I knew I'd made it in life. And they started cooking it called the Absolute Belter. And it's in West Coast Eagles colours, which is even better, blue and gold, and the Absolute Belter. So yeah, that's how the name came about. Like I say, when they'd named a bat the Absolute Belter, I knew I'd made it in life. I think they just got sick of me saying it all the time. Every time I walk into Kookaburra, I'd go, oh man, this is, I'd either say, yeah, no, this is too heavy, and Rob Elliott, this is Hollywood, Rob Elliott, who's the boss of Kookaburra, he remember telling me, mate, you're a bat psycho. You are a bat psycho. He said, just go out and use it. You know, you could use the keg, you could use the old keg there, mate. You're a bat psycho, because I'd go in and go, yeah, no, it's a bit heavy, or oh, the grain, not enough grains on it, or whatever. But when I got a good one, I'd go, oh, I say, boys, Absolute Belter, thank you so much, this is a ripper. So I think I said it so many times to Kookaburra, they eventually decided to, so how much did I have to do with it? Just the fact that I wore them down, a bit like Shawshank Redemption, you know, where he keeps sending the letters to for you youngsters out there, you probably haven't seen Shawshank Redemption, but it's a great movie, watch it. He keeps sending letters, and eventually it comes good. That was like, I said the word Absolute Belter so many times, I just wore them down, and Kookaburra decided to, so that was probably my only part of designing the Absolute Belter. The best thing, like whenever at the start of a cricket season, I'd ring the guys at Kookaburra and go, it's that time of the year, start of the season. They go, oh, righto, JL. All of a sudden, a few days later, a box of bats had arrived. And you open up the box and you just take everyone out of the plastic wrapper and you just look at it and you get the bat, you tap it up. Used to do this because Satch and all the, you know, and I'm not actually sure why we do that, but you think by the sound of it, it's a better batter or not. Who knows, that's what we used to do. And then you used to weigh them, we have the scales, look at the grain, and then that plastic wrapper, taking your bats out at the start of the season. Oh, like literally like Christmas Day, eh? Loved it. So when this goes to air, this is after the first Big Bash game, Scorchers versus Stars. At the end of the game, my little brother Ricky Ponting, he goes, oh, I've got a gift for you. I said, what's the gift? And he presented me with this. Look at that, like, oh. And I remember, I took it out, even last night, I was going, mate, look at this. I was looking at the grains on the bat. I was reminding myself I was batting. It was like I was still batting, like, I love my bats, eh? As you can see, like this was meant to be full, this room was meant to be full of wine, it was meant to be a cellar, but we built it about, I don't know, 20 odd years ago, and then all of a sudden I decided I like bats more than I like red wine. So, and this is that, I love it, I love the design, I love the colours, and just the name of it, you know, Absolute Belta with the, like the warrior glove. Oh, I'm stoked, I'm pumped. Yeah, if I look back, and it's a bit sad really, but I go down all these bats, and here I got 100 in Sri Lanka with this. I got 119 versus India with this belter, 120 versus India. I've got 200 versus New Zealand with this one, and 105 versus England, and 191 versus Pakistan. Probably my favourite innings actually at the Wacker. So yeah, they've all got great memories. I was telling you guys before, I remember old Dougie Walters, one of the legends of Australian cricket, and a bit of a larrikin, right? Known as a larrikin. Used to, love playing cards. Used to go and belt him. He's a bit of a modern day T20 player when he played. Used to wear his baggy green cap. And I scored 100 at the SCG against India, and very unusually back then, I played the reverse sweep. Like everyone plays the reverse sweep now, right? So I was on 97, they had a leg side field, so I don't even know what happened, but I reverse swept it. Sydney cricket and flew to the boundary, 100, I was pumped. Everyone was happy. My grandfather was in Sydney, everyone was happy, and I was pretty excited with myself. A few days later, used to run this cricket camp here in Perth, and I ran it for 20 odd years, and there's Dougie Walters, the old larrikin, the old legend, my hero, and he's used to come to the camp every year, and he's standing there, he's got a cigarette in his mouth, he's got a cup of coffee in the other, and he goes, JL, Test match 100, well done. I said, thanks Dougie, I was pretty pumped. Dougie Walters is saying well done. He goes, yeah, you got it with a reverse sweep. I said, yeah, what do you reckon, Dougie? He said, dumbest thing I've ever seen in cricket, son. And I couldn't believe it. I was shattered. Got 100, did this funky stuff before everyone else was doing this reverse sweeps and all this sort of stuff. And I'd do it for the first time, get 100, and even Dougie. Mate, no good. Anyway, you live and learn. Brings you back to earth, doesn't it? Now, they're all playing the reverse sweeps and the switch hits and all sorts of stuff. Mate, it's unbelievable to watch. But I suppose all the memories, we're so lucky. And the reason I have this, and no one ever comes down here, but what a room like this with my Kookaburra bats and all the stumps. You know how you see players at the end of a test match run and they pull out the stumps and they take it? They're all sort of the stumps of test matches. These are all the people I played with. And the reason I love it so much is not for any other reason. I just come down by myself. It reminds me of my people. And the people I played with, even there's some really old ones here of games where we broke the record. Ricky Ponting wrote me a really nice message on a bat when I retired. Steve Waugh as well, when I retired, wrote me a really nice message on another Kookaburra bat. So I just come down here every now and then, and for no other reason, just to remember the great thing cricket gave me was I met amazing people. And I've got amazing memories, and that came from players I played with. Kookaburra, I can say it, they're like my second family. They've been so good to me when I was playing and post-playing still. I've met some amazing umpires, I've met some amazing fans, I've met some amazing people in the media, all because of the game of cricket. So from that, I feel really lucky. Yeah, because what happened is, as quite often happened, we were in trouble, and Shoaib Akhtar was bowling he was bowling that fast. Everyone always asked me who's the best bowler, and I always say Wasim Akram or Murali. They were the two best, but the fastest was Shoaib Akhtar. And I think if you look on Google today, or you look on the internet today, they say the fastest over ever bowled was Shoaib Akhtar to Ricky and I was at the non-strikers end. I was at the non-strikers laughing my head off, but that game particularly, we had lost, Akhtar was bowling fast, and we were about 5 for not many, and then Gilly walked into bat, and as he would, I reckon we're 5 for 60, first day of the test, massive trouble. Gilly come in, and like he used to always do, he liked playing backyard cricket, smacks them all around the park, and we put on a really good partnership. Love batting with Gilly, love batting with Haydos and Punter, but I love batting with Gilly as well because he'd just tee off. And all of a sudden we'd gone from 5 for not many, and we put on, I can't remember, we got enough to win the game well. So, and it was at the Wacker as well. And Shoaib Akhtar was bowling quick. I think at one point at the end we're 9 down, a new ball came and I slogged him for 6. I'm like, mate, that does not happen, right? I'm a block artist, but I just teed off. But the other reason I remember that is because in the second innings, I got 96. Got 100 in the first inning, 96, and I always set myself every year to score 100 in both innings of a test match. I'm on 96, and I swear to God, the ball looked like it was I could not miss the middle of the bat. It was a good wicket. I'm hitting the ball beautifully, but the game of cricket, like Dougie Walters, always comes back to keep you grounded. And I got bowled. I couldn't believe it. I still can't believe it. I still cannot. I got clean bowled on 96. And my old man reminds me every flipping Christmas. I remember that game, son, you should have got 100 both in. You got bowled by Azam Mahmood or someone, I can't even remember, but I can't even believe, I still can't believe my belter. There must be a hole in it actually. So yeah, I might take that down. I'm just trying to see, it's getting a bit old now. So 200, this is at the Adelaide Oval. I remember I got my 100 wearing a baggy green cap, I reckon. Or the top with baggy green cap. But even now, what I used to do was I used to put all the tape down the bottom and I'd put tape. Oh, there's not tape on this one, which is a bit strange, but just the thing I used to love about my bats as much as anything was the grains on it, the weight of it, but also the handle. I used to love the handles. If you look at most of these bats I've got here, I used to put the tape at the top of the handle here, because just to give it, so when I'd lock my hands into place, there'd just be like a little thicker area up here. You can see here, I'd always tape the top, again an old bat, but you tape the top of it, and then so by the time when your hand stuck, it got there, it just sat nicely in your top hand. So I did that. So yeah, this bat, I mean, it even feels nice in my hands now. It's a bit different than what you see now. Like if you look at the shapes of those bats now, that's a lot thicker, right? It feels like the same weight to me, almost identical weight, but the main difference in how the bats have changed over time, they're just really thick. And there's a lot of talk about that. You know, a lot of people talk about how big the bats are now, and they're really skillful the way they go about it. But even if you go back to it's hard to believe this. Punter gave me this bat going to the West Indies, but you look at the difference. So that's the first bat, Kookaburra, it was a bubble. That's the first one, and how skinny it is, and then so they got a little bit bigger over time. But then you compare it to the modern day bats, which I received yesterday, and look how big they are. Now they're a lot thicker. I mean, that's just the way it was. But these were a lot lighter. Like this is such a light. I used to use about 2 pounds 6 or 7 bats. Old Kenny Muleman, who was my first batting coach, and they got famous Muleman's Cricket Centre in Perth here. And Kenny used to say to me, mate, you can open the batting, you use light bats. Now they all use big heavy bats. I don't know how they do it, but even these, that was probably 2 pounds 6 when I first started. I think this was probably about 2 pound 8, this bat. And this one I got yesterday, beautiful handle, skinny handle, but that's probably about 2 pound 8 or 9. But I still reckon probably get 100 against you blokes with this. Yeah, and then there's this one. We talk about the skinny bats. So the bowler I had the most trouble with in my career was Murali. The time, I swear to God, the closest depression I've ever been was trying to work out Murali. I could not work him out for the life of me, and I used to get me out every time, and I couldn't sleep because I was trying. The thing about batting, it's all about problem solving, right? So you work out, if Shoaib goes bowling fast, you have a short back lift and you're quick. If Flintoff's coming from 6'6" and he's bowling fast, you used to just shuffle across your wicket a bit. Or if Harmison from England's bowling, or you always had a plan. Or Wazam Akram's running in, you had a very short back lift because he could swing the ball both ways, so you just used the pace of the ball. But Murali, I could not work him out. For the life of me, I could not work him out. And as a batsman, there is no work. You can't sleep at night. You wake up in the morning, go to practice, and you're trying to work out Murali, and then you go to bed, and because you're still not sure what it is, you go to bed, and you still think about in bed at night, right? It is literally a nightmare. Anyway, we're in Sri Lanka. Murali kept getting me out, and Alan Border had come over. He was I'm not sure his mentor or interim coach or something, and I said, AB, I don't know how to play it, mate. I don't know what to do. And if I don't work it out, I'm going to get dropped and never play for Australia again. And I'll never forget him saying, he said, well, okay, what I used to do, because he said, I found Murali, because when Murali bowled, he used to go, whoosh, and it looked like a leg spinner, but you knew it was an off spinner. So when AB first faced him, he thought he was bowling leg spinners at. This is the great Alan Border, my first captain, the greatest of all time. He couldn't work out what was coming out of his hand either. So how am I meant to do it? So AB says to me, look, What I did was I'd stand there, and obviously both left-handers, and he said, all I'm looking at is the line of the ball from Murali. I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, if he bowls it and it's anywhere near the middle stump, you sweep, just sweep every ball. I said, I can't see. He goes, just sweep every ball. Because if you see the line and it's just outside the middle or off stump, you know it's going to spin away. So then you can just either leave it, or he might get frustrated and you might get a cut shot away, right? So I go, okay, come on, Alan Border's told me just sweep everything. So first ball, Murali comes out and my heart is going a million miles an hour because I know he's going to get me out. So anyway, I get out Colombo, come on, AB said, so Murali bowls, swept him, got off the mark. I said, oh, how good's that? So I'm off the strike, and the best place to face bowlers you can't face is at the non-strikers end, like Showa Bakhtar at the Wacker. So anyway, eventually get down the other end, Murali bowls, swept him again. Kept sweeping him, went for 4, and then he'd get frustrated and I just kept sweeping him, and then he might bowl me one out here and I could cut him, and the rest I just let him. I just left him go like I was facing a fast bowler. And I said, I got 100. I got 100 from Belta. So, Alan Border and the Absolute Belta, thank you very much. It just goes to show, again, for the youngsters out there, you've got to have a strategy. When you face bowling, fast bowlers and spinner, mates have a strategy every time. That's one of the keys to success. So that's what I'd say about this one. I finally conquered Murali in Colombo with this bat. With the stumps, honestly, the best thing about playing Test cricket is winning and the celebrations after. But I look at you score 100 and it's cool, and it's actually hard to replicate in life afterwards. The moment you score 100 is a feeling of complete ecstasy. Like, it's hard to explain because you work so hard, then you get 100, but it's fleeting. It only lasts a few seconds and the crowd goes mad, and you just feel good. When you win, and then you can go and sit in the change room afterwards with all your mates and we get to sing the team song, and it's just, sometimes it's 2 hours, sometimes it's 5 hours. We've had some long celebrations, but it's always got to, and that's what the stumps remind me of. The stumps remind me of winning, and winning with my mates in Test matches. And that honestly outweighs any 100 you can score, any personal milestone. Most cricketers will say that. The best thing about playing, it doesn't matter if it's club cricket. When I played for the Scarborough Cricket Club, at the end we won 4 premierships in a row at the end of my career. I don't really remember much about the games, but I remember the celebrations up on the bowling green outside the Scarborough Cricket Club. There's a bowling, we used to sing the song up there, you'd have a beer up there, and then you'd go out in the middle and up in the clubhouse. Man, that's what I love about the game, and I always have and I always will, and that's what these other bats all remind me of. Victories, like we had 3-0 against New Zealand, 3-0 against India. We'd won 14 straight Test matches. The record was 16 straight. It's hard enough to win 2 in a row, let alone 16. So this reminds me of all the players I played and against. Stephen Fleming, who I still see now. We coach against each other in the IPL. He's the captain of New Zealand for a long time. So yeah, just brilliant memories, great memories of who we played with and who we played against. And that's why the bats and the stumps mean so much to us. First thing, when you pick out a bat, what I'd say is that it's really important that when you pick it up, there's a couple of things for young batters. When you pick it up, I want you to close your eyes and I want you to just hold the bat in your top hand and just hold it. If you can hold it for 20 or 30 seconds, it's usually a sign that it's a good weight for you. If it's too heavy, then it's going to be very hard. You might think it's great to have a big chunky bat, but you've got to be able to hold it in one hand because you're going to guide most of your batting with your top hand. Second thing I'd say when you're looking for a bat, always look for the grains in the bat. So the grains are the lines that go down, and if you look at all the bats that we've shown before, those grains are almost perfectly, they just run in perfect straight lines down the bat. So that's what the second thing I'm looking for, the weight of it, so it feels nice in your hands because you're the one who's got to use it. Then I look for the grains in the bat, and then Ricky and I used to laugh because on a lot of my bats, I used to like having like a bit of, a little bit, there's like these butterfly bits in the willow, which is the grain in the willow. And for some reason, I used to always like, if I saw one of those in the grain, I used to love that. So it's just, the feel of the bat, and then the grain of the bat, and then of course the stickers of the bat. Use the ones who, your heroes. Like for me, it was Kim Hughes when I was a little kid. I used to use the bat Kim Hughes. And then I used another bat that Viv Richards used to use, because it was Viv Richards, or Alan Border's bat. But then so the feel, the grains, and then the stickers of your favourite player. Because when you walk out to bat, you feel like, if he can use it, if my hero can use it, I can use it as well. If Alex Carey can walk out and bat and smack him, well, so can I. And the last thing is, for any cricketer out here, doesn't matter what bat you're using, you're always, and this is actually interestingly a ball signed by Shane Warne, the great Shane Warne, but the number one thing is you must watch the ball like a hawk. You must see the ball come out of the bowler's hand. We all think we do it, whether bowling leg spin, off spin, left arm, quick. Watch the ball like a hawk. See it as early as you possibly can out of the bowler's hands, and then watch it as late as you can onto the bat. If you watch the ball, you get your head position right in your stance, so you're balanced, and then you watch the ball like a hawk out of the bowler's hand with your favourite bat in your hand. It's almost impossible to get out, and it's so much fun. Yeah, well, if you look at it, these are the old bats. So what here in my room, all the bats I was lucky enough to score 100 with, it's literally almost identical. There's a bit more of a, maybe it's new, a bit more of the sunrise, bit of orange in it, but they're pretty much, well, they are pretty much identical to how they were. So I reckon they look great. I love the colours. I love the name, obviously, but I just think the colours look awesome. So from Christmas Day, I can't wait to see which of our stars are going to be using it, and then how many kids I see using them. Because what I do know, this is a secret for all the kids out there, right? Absolute Belta, there's a lot of runs in them. Yeah, if you use them, I'm not sure why, there's a bit of magic in the Absolute Belta. So if you get an Absolute Belta, you can almost be guaranteed to score lots of runs. That's what I found anyway. Beautiful bat it is. Look.